If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There are creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Encumbered. My name is Mitchell Brewer of Black Cat Sports, and today we have another very special episode for you. This is a guy that I've wanted to talk to for a long time. We managed to get him on the show this week before he made his NASCAR Cup Series return this weekend at Circuit of the Americas. This weekend, he'll be driving the number 66 MBM Motorsports car, and man, I mean, when you think of road course ringers, you have to think about Boris Said, and that is who is joining us today. It was a very fun conversation, and again, I want to thank Boris for his time and MBM Motorsports for helping me set this up. I hope you enjoy the conversation, and without further ado, here is Boris Said. Thank you for your time today. It's a real honor to be able to talk to you.
Yeah, no problem.
First of all, welcome back to the NASCAR Cup Series. How did this whole deal with MBM Motorsports come together?
I mean, I've talked to Carl I've known Carl for a long time. He's a good guy. I mean, he's kind of a journeyman out there trying to, run with the big boys with, not much fuel in his tank. And, he does a good job for what he has. And even though I pretty much retired 5 years ago, I just really curious about the new car. I think it's really cool. The racing's been good, and just the fact that I've raced cars from the 90s to the 2000s, and, the last few decades of cars, I was really curious on trying it. So, when he offered me the chance to race it, I'm like, yeah, I jumped at the chance. Really excited about it. I mean, I know it's I'm a total long shot, and I haven't, ever even sat in one of these cars yet. So it'll be interesting. I won't really know. You get very limited track time for practice and a quick qualifying, but, I have a lot of experience at that track, which is one good thing, but just not any experience in the car. So I'm excited about it. I mean, I can't wait to drive.
And you bring up the fact that you're going to be racing in this next-gen car, and you bring up the fact that you're one of the few guys that's going to be able to say that you've been able to be in, like, a bunch of different versions of a NASCAR race car. How cool is that for you?
I think it's pretty cool. I mean, I remember my first race at Watkins Glen in 1998. I was just thinking, wow, there's only 43 drivers that get to do this in the world, and I felt really lucky. And I kind of felt like that in, all the NASCAR races I did, because it's the best racing in the world and some of the best racers in the world. I mean, I don't think you could pick a better. I think Kyle Larson right now is absolutely the best race driver in the world. So, when you get to drive with all those guys, it's a lot of fun. So then through the years, when they went from I guess my original car that I drove in '98 to the COT car, and how that all changed and the different configurations of motor and horsepower, and to see this car, which to me looks a lot like an Australian V8 supercar in a way, probably the closest thing I've driven to this car. The cars look really, really cool. And I think they're producing some really good racing. I mean, I think, NASCAR, there was a lot of negativity about it because why are they changing? But man, I'll just use Fontana as an example. The previous years, the racing's been kind of boring there, and they weren't getting any fans. And this year, I mean, it was one of the most exciting races we've seen. So I think everywhere they go, they produce a great show. So, obviously NASCAR was right.
And this weekend will also mark the first weekend that MBM Motorsports will get the chance to fully compete in the race. I know they attempted Daytona. How much of a weight off your shoulders feeling is it to know that you're guaranteed a spot into Sunday's field, no matter how practice and qualifying go on Saturday?
I mean, I've never really had that before, to be honest with you. I've always gone in there as a go or go homer with a lot of pressure, and I mean, but I like it. I mean, it just makes you really focus and try hard. But yeah, I mean, that's definitely nice. I mean, but I remember the days when there'd be 10 or 15 cars that would miss the race, and just all the pressure to try to get that lap in. But yeah, so that definitely takes a lot of the pressure away.
How does that kind of change your mentality going into Saturday? Does it just like completely flip how the day would usually go for you?
Not really, because it's so different now without the lack of practice. You know, we're completely guessing at a setup. We've never tested the car. Most of the teams have completed a couple tests at Charlotte on the Roval, so they kind of know where they need to be with the car and they know what to expect. So we're a little. I guess I'm hoping that we have a decent setup, and that even if it takes me longer than the 6 or 8 laps we're going to get in practice, it's a stage race thing now, so that first 15 laps I can use as practice, and knowing that the caution's coming. So that's another reason why. But I hope I can come to grips with the car and I feel comfortable with it, and I can still, hopefully get the thing in the top 20.
And you brought up the fact that you're a bit of a long shot, but do you think that with a new car and essentially a new track for the Cup Series, given how last year's race at COTA went, do you think that this could be a more equal playing field for this weekend and see more of that parity that we have seen early in the season?
Well, I mean, in general, that what the new car, in my opinion, has done is brought a lot of the teams closer together. I mean, you're seeing, the 43 car run at the front. You're seeing Justin Marks with basically a brand new team, being one of the top teams out there now. He put 2 cars in the top 5 this past weekend. So I think that is what's really exciting. It's giving new teams the chance to really compete. Am I going to run for a win? I mean, yeah, it's like the movie Dumb and Dumber. You're saying there's a chance, right? 1 in a million. But there is a chance. Realistically, no. I mean, I haven't really been driving. I mean, these guys are the best in the world. It's still kind of an underfunded team compared to what the big budget teams have. But I think we can go there and give a sponsor a good bang for their buck, like Bumper.com. And you never know. I mean, I think a win for this team would be to run in the top 20 in the teams. If we could get 15th to 20th would be like a win. So that's kind of my hope.
And can you elaborate a little bit more on that? Just because I know, like, with MBM, just making the field is a big deal. What would just the top 20 mean?
I just think it would kind of legitimize them that, hey, I mean, this new car, I mean, they really are a good team, and if they could get some sponsorship and put some more money in their bank there, with more sponsorship, they'd be able to compete with the other teams. I mean, certainly they have the experience. They have good people working for them, but it's hard to do stuff when you don't have the fuel in the tank.
And obviously, like, it's you've been in the sport for a long time, but every single time I can remember, whenever your name pops up on the entry list, there's always a little bit of excitement amongst the fans. What does that mean for you to see people get really excited just to see your name on the entry list after all these years?
I mean, it's kind of flattering, but to me, it just kind of reminds me how fortunate I've been. I mean, I never ever thought in a million years I'd be able to run a NASCAR race. When I grew up watching Dale Earnhardt race, and he was just the guy, my hero. And to end up racing with him and becoming friends with his son is something I never thought would happen. And NASCAR, it's given me so much, and I've met so many friends and so many connections. Just like right now, I'm sitting in my office at my BMW dealership that I own with Rick Hendrick, and never in a million years would I much less think I know the guy but we'd end up being partners in a car dealership together. So the sport has just given me so much, and I just love competing. I mean, I love driving those cars. I mean, just plain and simple. I eat, sleep, breathe, live, and love racing. And to get to do something for 35 years I feel really fortunate. There's not many sports you can do something that long. So, yeah, am I really going to go out and run with Kyle Larson or Chase Elliott? Probably not. I mean, they're some of the best in the world. But, when I was their age, I ran pretty good, but I'm going to try to run them down and maybe teach the kids a lesson. That would be pretty fun. You never know. You could get lucky.
And you bring up the names Kyle Larson, Chase Elliott. You're a guy that a lot of people look to as a road course ace. Is there anybody in this new current crop of NASCAR drivers that you can see being a future big road course ace?
Yeah, I mean, Daniel Suarez, he really impresses me on the road course. So I think he'll be the next generation of guy. But I think Kyle and Chase will be there for a while. And those guys, I worked with Chase a little bit before Daytona a few years ago, and he was going on the Daytona road course, and they had no practice. And, I kind of just traded notes with him, like different lines and different things I look for. And, I mean, that kid is so switched on. It's amazing. And then I look at Kyle Larson, a guy that, forget about how many NASCAR races he wins. Everything he gets in, he wins. I mean, I've raced a lot of different things, and to just go into somebody's backyard and jump into a car you've never sat in before and then dust the field, that's incredible. I mean, the kid is just so amazing. And off the track, he's one of the nicest kids you'd ever meet. So, I mean, Hendrick Motorsports in general right now probably has, the 4 fastest, nicest guys in racing. And I guess that's just really a testament to how Rick, runs his businesses, top down. I mean, that's how every Hendrick car dealer is. Just a bunch of nice people that really get the job done. So I look at that, and I look at that just kind of leadership and how I want to run my business and, how I would run my race team if I ever had one.
And my last question for you, and again, thank you so much for your time. Just what do you think fans should expect this weekend for the Cup Series race at COTA? Just because I know last year was such like a weird situation with like the rain and everything. What do you think this race will provide for the fans in the stands on Sunday?
Well, the thing about COTA is there's so many places to pass. It's going to be an exciting race. It's not going to be a follow the leader race. I mean, and the new car, with the braking ability and how good it is on it, it is a road course car. And you got 40 of the best guys in the world. So no matter what, I think they're going to get a good show. I thought it was amazing last year in the rain. I mean, it really showcased how little vision you had. And, oh, my God, they can't even see down the straightaway, and they're going 180 miles an hour. So I think this weekend is going to be bright, sunny, and hot, but I think the racing is going to be just as crazy as ever.